Some people have been asking about the new affordable 800-watt light, the Nanlite FC-720B, and how it compares with the Nanlite Forza 720. 720 has nothing to do with wattage, that's just a model number, and how they compare. And I'm also going to compare these with other similar lights that are pretty recent that just came out that are in the price range. So let's get started here. And some of you are going to ask, why should I even be interested in lights like that? Well, because if you're going to do video outside and you're competing with the sun, those little 60-watt, 100-watt consumer things that you're playing with are useless. They're not going to do anything. That's why we have these. And these are getting so affordable, I had to make this video, so let's get started. Now, as you know, I already talked about the Nanlite Forza 720. This is the 800-watt flagship Prograde model. It's $1,500. It's way beyond most people's price range. The daylight only version is $1,100, and it's a monster. It weighs almost 30 pounds. It's insane. And it comes with this giant control box here and these super heavy duty cables. You put it in a studio and leave it there. This is not something you take outside unless you're with a film crew and you have other people helping you. But this thing is ridiculous. It is the Prograde flagship. It's more rugged design. It's metal. It's built as a cinema grade workhorse. It's designed to replace the HMI style production lights. It has a separate control box and a heavy duty head. The Forza series uses a more robust cooling system intended for pro film environments, so they're designed to stay cool at a higher output range longer. So you can have this thing at maxed out and it'll stay cool and quiet. These other ones that I'm showing you today, they're more consumer stuff. They're not made to be running at 100% for long periods of time without the fan coming on and stuff like that. But anyway, so this is the super expensive, super heavy one. It's great, but it's like beyond practicality for most YouTubers. So that's where this one comes in. They just came out with the FC-720B. It's also 800 watts. It's almost exact same brightness, but it's 1/3 the price and it's 6 pounds lighter than this thing. That's the weight of a Godox LE600 with a battery, and you know how heavy those things are. It is amazing what they pulled off here. So it's this is the FC. It's $520. So this is $1,500. This is $520, and it's 1/3 the price. It weighs 16 pounds, so it's 6 pounds less than this. With the open bulb measurement, it's over a half a stop more than this thing, believe it or not. But when you put a modifier on it, then it's 2/10 of a stop less than this thing. And that has to do with the efficiency of what's inside here, the optical design difference. So with modifiers, that's where this thing levels out. But these things are almost exactly the same brightness. And that's what is so cool. And you get it for 1/3 the price, and it's 6 pounds lighter than this thing. The control box is a lot lighter and smaller than this one here. This thing is a lot heavier and bigger and clunkier and horrible to work with. This thing is much lighter. So they really did an amazing job with this thing. So here I am outside to demonstrate. I'm putting myself in the shade. Let's adjust the camera to make it really nice and dark for the background. Let's get a really, really dark setting here. So here, that looks really cool for the background, doesn't it? Now, obviously I'm black here, so I am going to now turn on the 720 FC-720 here, and I have a Magnum on it with a 3032 half grid diffusion gel. So let's see what happens when we turn this on. Voila! Look at that. This thing is overpowering the sun with a diffusion gel over it. You can get a really nice dark background for exposing for the background. And this right here. So I don't have the sun behind me. I'm not exposing for backlit stuff, which is cheating. Here I'm shooting in the same direction as the sun. And look at the brightness you can get with this thing. The 720s, which is actually an 800 watt light. Yeah, so this is the new FC-720 800 watt Nanlite. This thing is $520. What is out there that's similar? And I'm going to like Godox and all that. So let's compare these ones here real quick. This one also just, this has been out for a while. This is a Godox LE600B. It's not 800, but when you get up to that range, you're getting diminishing returns. So it's actually pretty darn close. It's almost a stop less with the open bulb, but when you put modifiers on it, the window's a little closer here. This is 14. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to go from heaviest to lightest. I forgot to say this. This is the heaviest monster. This weighs a ton, and I'm going to go to the most lightweight one. That's how these things are categorized here. So this one's 14.7 pounds. It's $620, so it's actually more expensive than this thing. This 600 is more expensive than this 800. So keep that in mind. And it's not even as bright. But this is the more pro version of the Godox LiteMon series. It has a more advanced driver than the LE system. But what I do like about it is how the power brick actually attaches right to the head here. That's really cool. But it is heavy. This one is still very clunky and heavy. This is more old school compared to the newer Nanlite FC line of cameras. So this is much heavier, clunkier feeling than this thing is. It's not as bright, and it's a little more expensive. So let's move on to this one. Here's another FC. This is the FC-500B. This is the 720. This is not 720. This is 800 watts. This is 500 watts. I love this one. This one here is actually my favorite one out of all of these. This is the magic sweet spot out of all of these. It's $400. So this is getting into the price range of a really high-end 100-watt light. So that is really cool. $400 for this thing. It's the same brightness output as this one, as the 600. So this 500 is the same brightness output as this one, the 600. And it is my favorite one. Again, it's brighter and lighter than the LiteMons here, and it's only 0.2 of a stop less than the 800 one, the FC-720. So the FC-500 is only 0.2 of a stop dimmer than the 800 one. So, and it's lighter, it's smaller, it's more lightweight. I mean, it's insanely efficient for a 500 class light. The head's only 7 pounds, which is like 3 kilograms. It's less top heavy because it has a little tiny control box here. This control box weighs nothing. Really small and lightweight. I like it. At $400, this is also one of the cheapest lights. All right, let's bring in the FC-500 here to compare it to the 720. You would think 800 watts is way brighter than 500, but reflector design and beam angle matter more than watt numbers. Check this out. I've got the same exact exposure settings that I had for the 800 watt 720. And look at this. This is the 500. This is the FC-500. And it still looks pretty darn good. I mean, it's a little tiny. It's 0.2 of a stop darker. But, you know, if I adjust the exposure by just one notch here, it should be just about right. So this is the FC-500 by Nanlite. This has a Roscoe 3032 diffusion gel on it, which takes the exposure down 1 3/4 stops. So that's a lot of light being cut down by the diffusion gel, and it still has enough power to be outside in sunlight for something like this. So the Neewer FC series are incredibly efficient, giving you almost flagship level brightness in a much simpler, lighter body, which makes them a lot more fun to use. I mean, look at this. I'm outside. I've got the exposure cranked way down. Who uses dark backgrounds like that other than me? And look how bright you can make your face look still. This is a Magnum 14-inch reflector with a 3032 gray. You could use a softbox if you had to. But I like using these because they don't blow over in the wind. The power supply I'm using is 110 volts right here. Now you can run this light off of V-mount if you get an optional controller, which as controllers go is actually really tiny and lightweight. This 500 is my most favorite of all these lights. It's the most lightweight with the most power, and even on V-mount the controller is really small and lightweight. And look at the look you can get. This is just one small 14-inch modifier. This isn't even a big modifier. It's just 14 inches, and it still gives you nice soft lighting. This one is more lightweight than this one. This one's only 12.56 pounds. It's $460. This is the Neewer FS600B, $460. It is not as bright, and it's plasticky. It's plastic, it's lightweight, but that's what I like about it. I love lightweight stuff. I don't care if it's plastic or not. I lug these lights in my car. I take them on location, and lightweight is the most important thing for me. I can always make a light work, but it kills me if it's heavy. The one thing I don't like about this is it has this big clunky power brick, and it has really heavy power cords. This is really annoying. I don't like it when you have a separate thing like that, especially when this is all lightweight. This is a 600, but it's almost half a stop dimmer than the Godox LA600 here, or even the 500. So this 600 is dimmer than this 500. And it's not even, this is even cheaper than this one. So I like it because it's light, but it's not as bright, and it has the power brick, and it's just, okay. So then we have this one here, the last one on the row here. This one is a new one that just came out. It's the Godox Light Month LE. That's an LA. This is an LE600B. The cheaper, simpler, budget studio light version of a 600. It's $400, so it's the same price as the 500 FC here. 11.94 pounds. So this is the most, I know this looks big, but this is the most lightweight one of the whole bunch.
Don't be ridiculous.
I'm not being ridiculous. This is the most lightweight one. Now, if you look through the hole here, there's nothing in here. So the front of this is actually the light. This little piece here is the light, and this back piece here is the power supply. So the power supply, there is no power brick. This is it. It's just a cord that plugs in here. So this back half is actually the power brick. The front half is the actual LED. So this is a single contained unit, which I really like. It's lightweight. It's 11.9 pounds. It's the most lightweight of all of them. And it has an integrated power supply. It's also one of the cheapest, 400, but that's also like the 500 over here. This is the LE600. This is 0.2 of a stop less bright than the LA600, which is heavier and clunkier to use. But this one is obviously more portable because it's more lightweight, and it's easier to use because if you want to carry it around, this is it right here. There's no power brick. This is the whole thing, which is really nice, and it's not that heavy. And it looks cool because it's white. The open bulb reading is 0.2 of a stop more than the 600 Neewer here, but it's 0.2 of a stop less than the 500 here. So that brings me to an interesting point about wattage. Wattage doesn't mean brightness, okay? That's just power consumption. So these two most lightweight ones are the dimmest ones also. They're not the brightest ones of the bunch. This one is actually the best bang for your buck, brightness for lightweight and money power. This is the cheapest. 400 is the cheapest out of all of these. That's what this is. It's also one of the most lightweight ones. It's one of the most brightest ones. I like the Nanlite FC-500B. It's only 0.2 of a stop less than the 800 watt, which is the new one that just came out. Now, the 800 is great as far as 800s go. If you want maximum power, this thing is great. It is a better choice than this one here, which is a heavy-duty, ridiculous monster. And I'm not mentioning the Amaran Ray 660 because it puts out less light than the Nanlite 500, and it costs more than the 800. And don't be fooled by the marketing hype. The cheap plastic Neewer has higher SSI than the Amaran. Manufacturers tune their lights to match a reference spectral curve called D55, and even if they nail it, the image can still look off and plasticky because there's a lot more to good light quality than SSI. Amaran Ray lights do have better color quality than most RGB lights, but they're not better than bicolor lights from quality brands like these. Now, I've got nothing against Amaran, but I do have something against marketing hype. I think Nanlite did a really good job. They really are coming out with, I mean, it looks cool too. I like the silver and the little blue pinstripe. Ooh, I like that. I like the look. Yeah, this is plastic. Okay, but I like lightweight. That matters to me. So it's bright. These FCs are brighter, cheaper, lighter. So if you want the brightest lights for the cheapest amount of money and something that's lightweight, easy to use, and fun, because the fun factor is important, I'd say the Nanlite FC series is the way to go. I hope I answered your questions about this. So this is definitely a good choice. It's 1/3. Look, this is almost exactly as bright as this one. They're both 800 watts, but it's 1/3 the price and half the weight. So there you go. There's my review of the lights when you're getting serious about lighting outdoors and you're not a Hollywood studio, but you get more serious with doing outdoor stuff in the sun as a content creator. I highly suggest you look into these said models. Thank you. I hope you got something out of this, and I just can't stop talking about lights. I promise to still talk about lenses and cameras every now and then, but lighting is of course more important because without lights you have nothing on your camera. Okay, well, there you go. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, bye.